For Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think. If you've watched a number of these videos, then you know that I am a big-time professional wrestling fan, and I have been for a long, long time. You also know that I've never been one who has been only a fan of a singular promotion, because the big guys, WWF, WCW, TNA, or AEW, weren't the first promotion that I saw coming up as a kid. I grew up in the territory era, so I watched a lot of wrestling, and I've always been fascinated by professional wrestling. So oftentimes I would just do searches on my television for the word wrestling and see what I could find, particularly when it got to the point where we had cable television or direct TV or things like that, and you could just type in the word wrestling and then see what came up. For me, though, growing up, when I heard the term high flyer, I saw a guy who could do a drop kick or a standing leapfrog or some kind of splash off the top rope. So that term always referred to guys like Jimmy Snuka or Ricky Steamboat or Kevin Von Erich. Then I saw Too Cold Scorpio in WCW, and I went, yeah, moves in the air mean so much more now. But then about 95 or 96, as I said, I was doing a search for the word wrestling, and I came upon ECW. And the first thing I saw on ECW was the open of the show. And in the open of the show back then, they showed Sabu doing the triple jump moonsault. He would have his opponent laid out in the middle of the ring. He would place a chair between his opponent and the ropes, and he would bound off one rope, jump over his opponent onto the chair, jump off of the chair onto the top rope in the middle, and then do a moonsault beyond the chair onto his opponent. And that was one of his signature moves. Sometimes he won matches with that move. But I saw that and I said, wow, this guy is otherworldly. He's on another level. And I know that expression now belongs to Will Ospreay. But I said, this guy's on another level. He is a high flyer times 10. So I watched some of his stuff and I watched some of his matches and I saw some of the moves he did with tables and with chairs and just diving over the top rope and all kinds of things. He could run and then just elevate or vault up to the top rope, standing in the middle and just balance himself until he decided whatever move he was going to do. And I went, this guy is amazing. And a lot of my friends were wrestling fans, so they would come over to the house or I would go to their houses and we would watch wrestling together. But when I saw ECW and I saw Sabu, I invited everybody over and I said, you have to see this guy. This guy is like nothing you've ever seen before. And they all agreed that Sabu was something that they had never seen before. And he was the next evolution of high-flying wrestlers. And today you see practically everybody doing these type of moves. But back then, 30 years ago, Sabu was the guy who was setting the standard for high flyers. And so when I found out over the weekend that Sabu had passed away, just a few weeks after he had what he termed his retirement match, which was a no-holds-barred barbed wire rope match against Joey Janela, I went, okay, so Sabu's 60 years old, he's going to shut it down. And that's cool, because he did so much damage to his body over the course of his entire wrestling career that I felt like, yes, he deserved to go out on his own terms and he deserved to retire and just be an ambassador to the sport and just be a guy that people just wanted to talk to and wanted to look at and wanted to shake hands with and take pictures with and be that guy. And so him having a retirement match, a lot of guys have retirement matches, but when I heard that Sabu was having a retirement match, I believed it. Because I felt like Sabu would actually shut it down because he has needed to, because he did a lot of damage to his body. A lot of going through tables, a lot of being set on fire, a lot of barbed wire matches, things like that. I saw a match where Sabu had cut himself so badly on some barbed wire in a match that he ripped the tape off of the ring skirt, the duct tape off of the ring skirt, and wrapped up his wound and continued the match. I saw this. So knowing that Sabu was retiring, I felt good about it. But it's sad because he passed away 3 weeks later, so he's now not going to get to enjoy his retirement. He's not going to get to enjoy just being a guy that goes to signings and goes to card shows and shows up at events and does the things that other retired wrestlers get to do. I mean, I never saw Sabu being an agent or a producer or a booker or any of that kind of stuff. I never saw that from him. But I felt like he would be one of the more popular guys at card shows and at signings and just showing up on TV all of a sudden, oh my God, it's Sabu, and that kind of thing. I always thought he would be one of the more popular guys. So it's sad that one of my favorite wrestlers has passed. It's sad that the guy who redefined high-flying wrestlers for me, even after Too Cold Scorpio had done that just a couple of years prior, the guy who redefined and set the standard for high-flying wrestlers has passed. And it's sad that a guy who never truly got his recognition as a professional wrestler had passed. Yes, he's in the Hardcore Hall of Fame. So he's got a banner hanging at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. But he was probably never, while he was alive, going to get in the WWE Hall of Fame. But even more than that, Meltzer hasn't put him in his Hall of Fame yet. He's not in the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. He's not in any of these. He hasn't been acknowledged in any of these institutions. But he will always be remembered as the guy who changed professional wrestling, because he set the standard for what a high flyer could be. And once he did that, the doors opened and other wrestlers could just be what they wanted to be and do what they wanted to do. And they could be what they wanted to be and do what they wanted to do. And they could push the boundaries of what athleticism could do for them in professional wrestling. And every wrestler who jumps off the top rope, every wrestler who's doing moonsaults and flips and things like that off the top rope, every wrestler today who does something where an announcer says, oh my God, I've never seen that move before, in the air, should be tipping their hat today to Sabu. Like the professional athletes do in football, baseball, and basketball. When one of their own passes away, you see them wearing a patch. The Dodgers are wearing a 34 patch for Fernando Valenzuela. The Lakers wore a patch for Jerry West when he passed away. Every professional wrestler who has an aerial style should somehow, in some way, incorporate the word Sabu into their ring gear for the next few months or a year or so, because they owe what they are able to do in professional wrestling to that guy. I am sad today because one of my favorite professional wrestlers has passed away, but I'm happy that I got to see him and I got to enjoy his work for this many years. And even though he has not been recognized in any of the major wrestling halls of fame, he's in the Hall of Fame for the fans who loved him and the people who knew him. Because if you go back on Twitter and Instagram and you read all the tributes and all the well wishes that went out to him, and you know the fact that Sami Zayn, WWE's Sami Zayn, has been trumpeting getting Sabu into the WWE Hall of Fame for years, then you know that he was a great wrestler, and in many people's hearts, a good guy. Remember to like and share this video and subscribe to this channel, and visit the Eric J on Sports website, and follow me on Facebook at Eric J on Sports 1, and on Instagram and Twitter at Eric J on Sports. And for Eric J on Sports, I'm Eric J, and this is what I think.